Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Adara and today we're going to be doing something fun. I have the last few weeks accumulated a lot of books that I haven't really continued reading. I have accumulated a lot of series, I guess, that I've begun to read but haven't progressed in since then. Because I just read the first book for a video and then I haven't touched it because other videos. So I think for this one we're going to do a continuing series I'm in the middle of. And I am really excited for it because I haven't done one of those. And I have a lot of books sitting on my shelf that I'm really excited to get to. We have 3 victims I'm thinking of today. I'll go get them. So the 3 that I'm thinking of are actually all on my December TBR. So we have Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Worlds. Other Lands, that's what I said. And I am quite excited for this one because there was just some kind of crack in the other one. I don't know if I liked the crack, but crack it was. So I'm continuing the series. Then we have 2 Twisted Crowns. And I just finished One Dark Window. And this one, I know it's gonna go completely off. And I want in on it. Let me know. The FOMO is hitting and I want to continue this universe so bad. And then we have, whoa, okay, that was heavier than I thought. Children of the Fallen Gods. And I'm so fucking excited. I don't think you understand. I know this is gonna hit right. This is also a book where I read the first one, gave it 5 stars and wanted the second one immediately, but YouTube schedule, So now we're doing all of these in one sitting. That's a lie. We're not doing them in one sitting. We're doing them in one video. Just because then I actually have a reason to finish some of the series I started. So I'm really excited about that. I don't quite know what my reading schedule is looking like with these, but I think I'm starting with this one. This little actual brick. Yeah, we're starting here. I'll read a bit. I'm definitely gonna give you more updates than just halfway. Because halfway is 310 pages, you know, an entire book. But I'm really, really excited about these and I'm really excited to tell you what I think about these. So I'll see you at some point. I've gotten quite a bit into it. A third. I listened to it on audiobook while I did creative stuff and it was such a good experience actually. And we have 2 different narrators and I really enjoyed it. I don't have a lot of thoughts yet, I think. Like, it's definitely gonna take me a little bit to get into this one, I guess, because fantasy worlds are always hard to jump in and out of, I feel like, because you need to remember everything. You need to remember who these weird ass names are and you need to remember what it means and where they ended up and everything. So I always feel like there's a bit of difficulty when you jump back into a fantasy world you haven't been a part of for a while. But I am 200 pages in on the dot actually. And we have a new character that I don't think I didn't expect this storyline, I guess. We have 3 different point of views. We have Tisana, we have Max, and then we have a new girl called Effe. And I didn't expect us to get a new character. So I'm figuring out if I like her, but so far I do. And all 3 storylines already seem interesting. They're out doing different things, so we get 3 different storylines, I guess. And all 3 of them are interesting and I'm not annoyed to switch to any of them. So that's really nice because there's nothing worse than having a storyline you don't give a single shit about. So I'm really enjoying that part of it so far. I definitely think this will be a harder one to... The thing about this one is that there is just harder themes in it. I don't even know if it's harder themes. They're at war, right? And that's just every second fantasy book ever, I guess, right? But still, it's a lot of the same so far, but in a way that isn't feeling repetitive. But I don't know how they're gonna do it for 2 more times, right? So I'm interested to see where we're going, but I don't have a lot of thoughts and opinions yet, just because not that much has happened yet. But I love our Tisana. I love Tisana's way of doing this in her way. She has been manipulated and used too much in her life to want to just lay down and take it one more time. So I love the fact that there's a task that she's been put up to do and I just love that she's taken it and made it her own. So she's choosing, yeah, she's cooperating, but she's doing it in her own way. And I really, really love that. And Max has his storyline and I love to see the character growth that he's going through. And then this new character who's very different and I'm really intrigued to see where we go with them because I can definitely see a lot of potential there. And the romance is kind of cute. It hasn't happened yet, so right now I'm grasping at straws. But I have a hope. And I think it's really, really cool. So I'm excited to let you know more. Morning, guys. I just want to give you an update of Children of the Fallen Gods because this book is amazing. I am both reading it on Kindle and I'm reading it with my audiobook since I kind of want to like not actively read for a little bit since I just finished the 24-hour readathon yesterday night and I'm kind of tired. I feel like that, like doing a 24-hour readathon sticks around. Oh, okay. I am at page 421. It says I'm 67% in, and that feels about right. It also says on my Kindle I have 2 hours and 39 minutes left. Really excited to see where this will go, since I didn't expect any of this. Like this, I knew what I was going into, of course I did. And yet I've been surprised at every turn. So I am really, really enjoying it. And I think this will be equally as high as the last book, rating wise. Because it was just such a pleasant read. And Carissa Broadbent just has wonderful writing. Like absolutely wonderful. And she has wonderful characters. So I'm really feeling it. There was a problem that was solved between the last clip and this clip. And that problem was not solved how I thought it would be. But the way that it happened, I've yet to see the results of it, I guess, like the outcome. But I feel like in the moment, it felt sad, but really, really fitting and like satisfying, I guess. And like a little emotional, honestly. So I'm having a lot of feelings about that, but I'm really excited to see where this will go, because it is such a wonderfully written story, and I deeply, truly care about IFMC. And I love when that happens, because you just, in all of you, you just want them to succeed. And that's exactly the way I feel with Tefana from this book. I say and probably say her name wrong. Tefana, not Tefana, whatever, point stands. So I'm really enjoying it. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful book, and I'm gonna give you an update later when I have something. I'm probably gonna, put it on audiobook and play video games for a bit, because that sounds absolutely wonderful right now. Also did my nails again. And I think they're cute. They turn out very colorful. They're still cute though, so we take them. But I'm gonna start relaxing with my audiobook, and I'll see you guys later. I swear, as soon as we hit Christmas time, I am constantly cold. Hi guys. I wanted to give you a little update on how it's going. I finished The Children of the Fallen Gods, this absolute chunk of a book, and it was absolutely amazing. And the thing that I struggle with always is I feel like I'm quite good at not spoiling anything for the books that I'm reading when I'm giving you my thoughts and feelings on them. But it's always harder when it's the second book, because it's all based on how the first one ended. But let's see if I can manage it. I had some good feelings and I had some bad feelings. I really liked how it didn't all just come in a neat little bow. But what really surprised me, that like it seemed like what was going to be the main problem in the entire book resolved halfway. So I was a little confused about what this part was, but it ended up feeling okay. It felt slower paced, and I guess it was slower paced, but it wasn't because it was bad at all. There was just focus on some things I didn't expect there to be focus on in the second book. We got a newer villain, I guess, as always in fantasy books in the second one, to be fair. And I feel like maybe that was done slightly cheap. But I see where the author is coming from, so it's not too bad. It does still feel realistic in some way. I think it was a well-rounded, good story that was set up from the beginning of the first book without you realizing, which is honestly the most important part. Because sometimes you can really feel that, you know how if a season of a show is suddenly continued and they were kind of out of plot, suddenly a new, bigger evil is out. There was no kind of foreshadowing for this at all, so you just know that they had to think real fast so they could make more money on it. That wasn't how this felt. It did feel like this was always the plan, and it felt well executed. So I did like the way it went. And I loved the third point of view we got. And I really, really liked how that story was told. I did kind of see the direction that was going, but that's completely okay, because there was still some twist I didn't see. I am not gonna give this a 5-star because it didn't have the same feeling that the first book did. But I am gonna give it a 4.75. So it's not because it's bad in any shape or form. I really enjoyed this book, and I am really excited to read the third one. A problem I always have though when I continue and pick up a fantasy book that I put down for a while, you know, a series, then I pick it up and I forget every single character that has ever been. It didn't feel as bad in this one actually, but I definitely had some confusion just when we started out. Because it wasn't the main characters that was the problem in this one, it was like the side characters. But I also want to say thank you for Julia for buying me the second book. I appreciate you. And I'm gonna give it a 4.75. So Julia coming in with another banger. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to crochet for Children of the Fallen Gods, so I'll just put the clip here and then we'll figure it out together, because honestly at this point, no clue, babes. Then we're starting to Twisted Crowns. And I'm already a few pages into this, like 30, 40 pages. This is where it's really hitting the whole, I don't remember what I have ever read in my life. And names always just evade me. So I remember none of these people. I was honestly surprised by the main character's name. So that wasn't great. But I am kind of caught up with the names, I think. There's of course still some side characters that I'm forgetting completely. But I feel like they're doing a good job on introducing them again in a way where the author's like, hey buddy, did you read this a while ago? This is who this is, you know? But without making me feel like complete idiot. So I appreciate that. So far so good. We're getting a lot of point of views that I didn't expect. So I think I might have been right with my guess that this book would be even better than the first one, because I'm already enjoying it quite a lot, and I really think I'll absolutely fly through this one and give it a high rating. But I will let you know when I get a little further into it, and then I'll see if I'm right. I'm not even gonna lie, it's been like 4 days or something, but I haven't been in the mood to read. I usually don't have to plan it or anything like that. I want to sit down and read, so I sit down and read. It's really not that deep. And the last 3 days I haven't wanted to. I really haven't wanted to. I had hoped to be done with this video at this point, and I am less than halfway through 2 Twisted Crowns. I'm here, so 40% my Kindle says. And it's good. It's really good. It's really interesting. It's cool. We're getting more point of views. We're getting a little love thing in one of the point of views I'm excited about. We have some really cool characters. They're on a really cool plot. I love the fact that I know everything we resolved in the last 60%. So why am I not reading? When I pick it up, having the time of my life. Why am I not reading? No clue, babe. No clue. I don't know. Well, the thing is, this always happens when I've done a readathon. I just don't want to read for a few days. I had enough for those 24 hours. Now I don't want to read for a little bit. And like, I guess, yeah, that's okay. That's fine. It's just really annoying when I had hoped for more, I guess. So 2 Twisted Crowns, so far, so good. Enjoying it a lot. I'm just annoyed that I'm not reading it faster. My boyfriend and I are getting a friend over tonight, and then we might drive to visit my boyfriend's mom, so I don't even know if I can read it all tonight. But I have a hope, a dear hope, to finish it tonight. But I don't think I will. Like, I do not have high hopes for finishing this tonight, and that's really annoying. And the thing is, I read relatively fast, I'd say, but my Kindle says I have 3 hours and 48 minutes left, and I don't know where to fit it in. I don't know where to fit it in. So I'm struggling with it a little bit right now, which is really annoying since I know it's a really good book. So I will hopefully be able to find some time at some point to sit down, get into it, fully enjoy it. Because I even listened to the first 40% on audiobook. And while that's extremely nice and I was really productive while, it doesn't catch me in exactly the same way. So I want to pick it up. I want to read it. I want to enjoy it. I'm not doing that right now, and that's annoying. And that also just means it's affecting my rating of it, and especially when I had kind of predicted that this would be a 5-star, it really sucks that the mood for reading isn't there. But I'm gonna take you along with me to read it, to finish it, all of those things. You will most likely get some worse quality clips since we're not home for like 3 days, so I'll still film and update and all those things. It just won't be, you know, as we're doing it here with quality and a good background and stuff. But I hope you can forgive that, and then we're gonna try our best as we usually do. I know the light isn't great, and I feel like I pre-warned you, so still sorry, but you knew it was coming. I just this exact second finished 2 Twisted Crowns. There was some things I saw coming. I think, no, let me start over. And I'll start out with talking about my reading experience of it, because I feel like you need to have that in mind when hearing my opinion on it. Always when I do a 24-hour readathon, I don't really want to read for a while afterwards. And that happened exactly here again. I finished the book that I was currently reading, which was Children of the Fallen Gods, where I had like 2-3 hours left of it max, right? And I started this one, and I didn't want to read. And it had nothing to do with the specific book. It was just, I didn't want to read. I wasn't in the mood. I found other things to do. I had a lot of fun, but this was not one of the hobbies I naturally picked up. And because of that, I listened to the first 40% on audiobook. It was nice, fun, everything, but it didn't hit. And then I read this last 60% over the last 2 or 3 days, which means I have been reading this book for a week. I've been reading this book for a week, and keep in mind I usually finish a book every second day. So I've been reading this for quite a while. And because of that, I haven't fully enjoyed it the way I had hoped it. Meaning that I am not going to give this a 5-star, because that is not the feeling I'm left sitting with. And I actually think I'll pick it up at some point just to retry it, because I think I really want to experience this book the way it's meant to. And right now I haven't. I really like the way it ended. I know that something was supposed to be like, it wasn't. I saw it coming, and I don't think it was very well hidden. So I don't think it was a big surprise. but I still had a lot of fun with it and I thought it was really good. We had this secondary romance and I talked slightly about it earlier, about the fact that it just hit. It was just delicious. That was honestly my favorite part of this book, I think, because it was just, it tasted good. It tasted really good. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I think I am sad. Well, I know that I'm sad about the way my experience with reading it went, but I know that the book in itself was good. I really like the way they wrapped up all our characters. It feels like everyone got a real character development in a way that I liked. We had a really heartfelt moment where I cried. And it made me really emotional because the characters were built up wonderfully. And I love what we ended up getting in the 2 books. And I'm really happy with the duology because I feel like it got through all of the points it wanted to make without dragging on. And I feel like books do that a little too often, especially in the fantasy genre. So I'm really happy that this one ended in just the 2 books and I feel like it ended up really well. I am little unsure of what I want my final rating to be, but I am leaning... I feel like I almost want to give it a 4.25 because that's what I gave the previous book and it was a really good book and I wanted to give it higher. But the problem I'm experiencing is because of the way I read it, I don't think I can give it the amount that I had hoped for I would. So maybe I'm leaning on a 4.5, but it also just, I think I'm having a hard time rating it. I think I'll put it on a 4.25, full on knowing that it's not a fair rating for this book. And I think that's a really unlucky situation to be in because I know it could have been a lot better if I had just fully been invested in it from the start, and I wasn't. This would have been a nicer, like a nicer book to read for me right now. Would have been a silly romance or something like it, or even a Christmas book or something, right? But this one just didn't hit, and that kind of sucks because I really think it had a beautiful setup. I think it had a beautiful journey throughout the entire thing. And I had really hoped that I've been a little more active on making myself read the last few days, and I had really hoped that it would like set in again, like that love for reading and the love for reading this specific, and I just didn't get that. I will put it on 4.25 and then I will hopefully actually reread it at some point so I can make sure I get that feeling that I know I could get from this book. I am at the moment a little unsure of what I want to crochet for it, but I'm thinking one of the charms that's mentioned throughout the book, because everyone in here needs like a little animal charm, which honestly comes in so many shapes and sizes. I think we had mention of horse teeth, horse hair, snake head, feathers. We had so many, and I think I will take inspiration from that and make some kind of animal-based charm based on this book. Yeah. And then we're starting Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. And I am a little nervous about this one in my current state, I guess, because I have not loved the first one because it felt a little too silly, because I'm worried that in my current predicament, I'm not gonna fully vibe with it. But it is a bit more silly and it's an easier fantasy world to read. So I'm also kind of hoping that it'll even out and it'll make it easier to read because there's less at stake, right? Because there was a lot at stake here and it did it wonderfully. So I really think, read this book, really truly read this book, because it was a wonderful experience. I just read it at the wrong time. But yes, to start, Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I don't really know a lot about it. I am guessing it's a continuation of what we had previously, and I'm hoping we get a bit of character development in that one, and I hope we get a bit of relationship development in that one, because I am not satisfied with what we got in the first one. That being said, I am still excited to get back in the world and see where we end up. I'm gonna give you an update, maybe at 33%, seeing if I'm feeling better. But yeah, 4.25, and starting the next book. I know I look a mess, babes. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna shout. Can't be bothered. We're driving home today, so this is my travel messy outfit. I started the Map of the Otherlands yesterday night, and I honestly got quite far. I got to 34%, and I was so smart that I left the book at home. So I had to get it on my Kindle. I like it. The thing about it is that the author's writing is really good. And I really think that Heather here is really talented at writing. And she sucks me in and she keeps me quite entertained the entire time. For me personally, it's mostly the main characters. That kind of annoys me. I think they are, annoying, both of them. And in this one, we have gotten 2 new main characters as well on top of it, who are also annoying. Like, my favorite character is the dog in it, called Shadow. I think we're going in an interesting direction. I like it. Yeah, I think we're really, I think the plotline sounds interesting. We've gotten quite a bit into it already, which I enjoy, that it's not just nilly-nallying about somewhere, but that we have actual progress. I think it's gonna be like a fun, quick read. And then I think it's just depending on how it goes from now on that mostly decides how I'll actually find it. Because so far it's mostly just been the setup. And I also love the setup in the first book. So her setup, her world building, her everything like that is wonderful. I love it. For me, where it usually goes wrong with this author, usually I've read one book. For me, where it went wrong in the last book I read by this author is around the 60% mark, where I feel like it completely fell off. Because before that I had some annoyances, but nothing like actually bad. And I hope we will stick with the feeling I'm currently having about it, and that'll go through the entire thing. And maybe we're getting a bit more character growth in this one that we didn't really get in the last one. But we'll see. The MMC is just keeping a secret from the FMC, and that's kind of annoying me. Like, why? It just feels silly. Because that just means that the author doesn't want me to know. And I am annoyed that the FMC knows that the MMC is keeping a secret and isn't annoyed at him for it. Like, what do you mean? This guy is supposed to be like with you and it's fine that he's lying? I don't know. Maybe it's none of my business, but I feel like it's some of my business, you know? I'm gonna update you guys at like 33% more, and then we're gonna see how my feelings have changed, if the same, whatever. I still look a mess, babes, I'm sorry. But I am a little bit less than halfway. And I realize now why I'm not the biggest fan of the MMC. And that's because he's useless. And I'm sorry, but there's nothing I like less than a useless man. Weaponized incompetence, Wendell. So yeah, I realize why I don't like him. Like, why would I need a man in my life that makes it worse? That makes it harder. That's not helping me. That's just negative. I bring you Wendell. So that's my thoughts on that. I am still liking it. I actually think the premise is really cool, but it does seem a lot more action-packed by like a lot more than the original book. And if that's good or bad, I'm still not sure of. But I know that I'm enjoying it and that it's going by relatively quickly, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm thinking of sitting down and reading the rest now, and then I'm gonna update you guys when I'm done, or if something really spicy happens. I also just finished the crochet thing for it, and I like this one, so get excited. Yeah, it's good. But I'll read it and then I'll update you guys. I finished Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands last night, and I'm really happy I continue with this series. And the reason I'm happy about it is because the plot in this one was so much better and so much more well built, and we had a lot more character development in this one. I still think the main characters were annoying and the MMC was not MMCing, you know? Yeah, but I think that the all-around story was really, really excellent, and it kind of ended in a way that I liked, and I actually think I'll continue on the series in general. I think the author is incredibly talented on pulling you with her and making you understand what's going on in a way where you're entertained the entire time. And I love the way that it's told, where it's like a journal where she writes in it every day. And I always love that in the end we get basically her passing out or not being able to write in the journal herself. So the MMC takes over and writes those. And you can clearly see like the writing style difference. The Emily Wilde series in general is a really, really interesting story being told from some interesting characters. So I had a lot of fun with this. The romance is still not romancing, but I think I'll give it a 3.5. I am comfortable putting it at 3.5. At some points it was higher, and some points it was lower. So 3.5 is where I'm comfortable putting it. I also got this book gifted by Judith, so I also want to say thank you to Judith for actually buying me this book, and I had a lot of fun with it, so thank you. And for this one we ended up crocheting this. A little summary, even though hopefully you remember it. Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands on a comfortable 3.5, and we ended up crocheting this for it. And it was a good book, even though the romance didn't romance. Another book we read were Two Turkish Crowns, and it was such a good time. It was such a good time. I really dislike that I wasn't in the mood for it, because it was the right book, wrong time. But we are still comfortable on 4.25 with it, even though I know it's an unfair rating. And we ended up crocheting this for it. The last book I also have on my shelf, like up here somewhere. But the thing about it is that it's so like, that shelf is so tight that I can't pull it out without really pulling. So thank you for Julia for buying Children of the Fallen Gods for me, and I loved it. It was a really good time, although I think the rating isn't a 5-star. I think I'm putting it a 4.75. I don't actually remember what I ended up rating it. That's where it's fitting for me right now. And I feel like ratings are more accurate the further away you get from the book, if that makes sense. Like, of course, you hit a max. But right now, I feel like I have most of the plot still in my head. I have a good character base for all of them. So I think 4.75 is a good rating to put it. And we ended up crocheting this for it, and I feel like it's so fitting. I love it. I honestly think I did an amazing job on all of these crochets based on the books that they're from. I had a lot of fun with this. I really did. I think I'm gonna have to be more aware in the future of what I plan after a readathon, so it's a bit more easy and a bit more silly and cozy. Because reading 3 fantasy books right after finishing a readathon was not smart enough for me. I guess it wasn't even a fantasy reading vlog. It was just me continuing a series, which is most of the time fantasy. Whatever, I had a really fun time and I hope you did too. So thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you liked it and I'm excited to see you in the next one. Bye guys.